Hey everyone, welcome to episode 21 of Heroic Nonsense. We're going to go back very slightly in time to revisit the Toxitron line, probably for the last time here, with the very brightly colored G2 Universe Jazz. I mainly wanted to finish up my G2 Toxitron reviews and do a final showcase of these figures, and Jazz was the last one we hadn't seen yet in any previous episodes. I'm also waiting for the next batch of new Transformers figures to come out, so I do have a bit of time right now to explore some hidden gems in our collection. Hold on tight as we take a drive down the fluorescent highway with the smooth bot himself, G2 Jazz. This whole line was something of an impulse buy for me, to be honest. When I first heard about the line, I had a lukewarm reaction. However, when I saw the boxes with those brightly colored images and then saw the figures themselves, I pretty much went all in. One, I knew my boys would love these figures and colors, and two, I knew I would as well. I mean, look at all of them and their designs. How could you not want these for your collection? Plus, I will buy any Secret that comes out, so Cloud Cover was a must. I wasn't too sure about Jazz, but now having opened him, he is as funky a looking figure as any, and so out there that he has become one of my favorites of the line. While the figure in both modes looks great and is totally fun, I do have to say that the plastic feels a bit off. Not the same feel at all to the standard line, so if you're getting this figure, I'd say it's for the novelty of it all and not for the quality. I mean, it all still generally works, though I feel even the wheels are a bit tight. But you're getting a working toy, and the highlights for me are definitely more in the colors, the character, and the line on this one. Let's take a closer look at the figure itself with some stills. I tried to capture the colors as best I could here, and I think they mostly came out, but the figure in hand definitely is something to see. So vibrant with the different orange and yellow hues, mixed in with some silver and a few darker highlights. He is a lot more detailed than I thought he would be in this palette, and comes with a few more accessories from Studio Series Jazz that makes him somewhat unique. Those familiar with the figure know that he does have a few gaps in the lower arms that you can't really see from any angle unless the arms are up, and a bit in the lower legs as well from the back, which isn't too bad given the shadowing. He is generally posable in this position, which is nice for some action shots, but a little harder to balance when trying to put him in a walking or running pose as compared to some more recent figures I have reviewed. It may also be because this version, as compared to SS86 Jazz, is a bit looser. G2 Jazz does come with some extra accessories, 3 in total. They're all, from what I can tell, meant for his hands, though I did find a way to take the missile one and use it on his shoulder if you place it just in the space between his back and windshield. You can of course also get this nice clean look by removing everything and just keeping his laser. Car-wise, he is shockingly orange, but again, totally fun and great as part of the overall Toxitron line, which I will show you more of shortly. Because it's the 80s/90s, you have some triangles on the doors and tail, which is for some reason something that was big back in the day. I do love the way his grille and lights look in these colors, and of course that bright G2 symbol on the hood. When I first saw the design for Studio Series 86 Jazz, I wasn't too hot on it as I felt it looked a bit too toy-like in car mode. Once I got it, however, I found it to be pretty realistic looking overall and a good homage to the original. Funny enough, I feel this version, minus the color, or perhaps because of it, looks even more realistic, especially from the front view. You can see a bit of the interior robot mode parts through the windows, so perhaps some tint would have been good, but overall, the car mode looks great, taking everything together. Alright, let's move on to the transformation. So what we're going to do first is lift up the back a bit, and we're going to lift up the front and just push that tab out a little bit forward so you can push the head down and lift up the front. And now that tab that we moved up, you just push back like that. And we're going to flip around this mid portion. It makes room for the arms in a bit. And then we'll close up the hands, so we'll do it each side like this. And then we'll just fold in the arms 180 right underneath the hood. You see this little tab here, it's going to fit on the outside. That's where the doors are going to close afterwards. So just flip this in, see that tab, turn it out a bit, 90 degrees, and it's ready for later. Okay, now let's just open up the doors like so. So we can pull out the back part and just straighten it out. And now we're going to fold up these wheel sections and push back the foot. So just fold it up and same for the foot. And then the legs fit right into the bottom portion of the legs. And you click it together. And then all you have to do is just open these doors a little bit, make some room. You're going to push down the whole top portion, click it into the hood and the back. And now those tabs that were sticking out before, you're going to click it right into the side of the door. So you're going to do each one. You should hear a click. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So just click it in. Make sure everything's lined up nice. And there you have it. Jazz ready to go. So I wanted you guys to see the comparison to Studio Series 86 Jazz. Other than the completely different look and feel because of the colors and detailing, the G2 figure itself is exactly the same with some bonus accessories. Same exact comments for the car mode. Everything is exactly the same down to a T, but again, the colors and designs give G2 Jazz its own character and feel. I don't see why you couldn't even make up another character and call him something else, so you could have these two guys racing down the highway together chasing some toxic cons. Just throwing in a few images here and there of G1 Jazz and Sideswipe compared to their G2 Toxitron counterparts for fun. So now let's start throwing all the G2 figures into the mix so that you can get an idea of scale and color themes. Since these are all repaints of figures released many times over, you likely all have a good idea of how they compare size-wise. Color-wise, the figures from the Toxitron collection look the best together and most cohesive, and I think any display of them as a group will always stand out in your collection. Had to show a few of these shots of the California Dreamin' crew over here in car mode. Again, so out there, you gotta love how crazy they went back in the day and now with the color and designs. Again, so you get an idea of scale and color schemes, our whole collection of the Toxitron figures. It's really fun to specifically put the G2 cars and trucks together, and I think both G2 Jazz and G2 Sideswipe look good next to Laser Optimus in this scale. Like I said earlier, the boxes for these Toxitron figures are what initially got me hooked and made me pre-order the ones we now have in our collection. The boxes themselves can honestly be their own collection at this point. What I like most about the latest box designs is that they are all generally put up against a Cybertronian backdrop, which I think is awesome. I'm only going to show the side view here of Jazz in bot mode since the other side we've seen a dozen times already. I love the way they gave him a playful feel here and totally made him look boss in that full body shot. The backs of the boxes are usually the least interesting for me, but out of all the lines so far, this is my favorite as you got the black sludge up against the colorful figures and art with a very cool toxic symbol splattered on top. On to the fun part. Extra fun specifically because of this group of figures. I went all in here and put all the Toxitron and G2 figures that we have in our collection from the recent lines together. In addition to the Toxitron figures, you can see Laser Optimus Prime as well as Generation Select's G2 Ramjet and Velocitron G2 Dragstrip, aka Shadow Strip. So many fun ways you can pair these guys together in different teams and set ideas. Really, they all work. Just putting this out there because of his lime green colors, and why not? I used Velocitron Speedia 500 Road Hauler here, the same way I threw in Generations Insecticon Ransack in my review of Toxitron himself, which you can see right here, simply because of the colors. And a surprise one that you guys may not have been expecting, one more bot with this mold, War for Cybertron Golden Disc Jackpot. I almost forgot I had another one of this mold, but happy I did find him because this is a very cool mold to have multiple bots of. I think we're still waiting for Ricochet, but in the meantime, let's enjoy how good these three speedsters look together. And one final bonus, G1 versus G2. So that brings us to the end of episode 21 of Heroic Nonsense. Hope you all enjoyed this very colorful review. Next view will be a bit all over the place, but I promise extremely cool as I have a lot of interesting unique reviews I want to bring to you as we wait for the next batch of new Transformers to slowly trickle in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already as it really helps grow the channel and so that I can bring you guys along for the ride. See you next time, and remember, it's all such heroic nonsense in the end.
Bravo!